the Raven Heights Radio Podcast. Get weird with us.
Welcome to Raven Heights Radio. I am your co-host, Andrew Rosa, and of course, I am joined by my lovely co-host.
What's my name?
Oh, God, say your fucking name.
David S. Pumpkins.
Oh, dear God. Save that horrible joke for Halloween, please. But yes, thank you for joining us once again. And you may not have asked for it. You may have. I don't know. We're recording this at a time in which we have not looked at comments. So we're going to talk about Smallville again. And we are still on season 4.
We thought we were done.
Yeah, we got to that one episode and we were like, fuck, I still want to talk about Smallville. And
I think we'd been done recording for like a minute.
Yeah, and you're like, I want to talk more about Smallville. And I'm like, all right, I can still talk about Smallville. All right, so, would you like to talk a little bit about Season 4 and how it's somewhat disappointing? Or, I only say somewhat, not that it's still not good to watch. It's just that there's one thing in particular that kind of bugs me. I know it bugs you.
I know. We'll get there.
Okay.
But I realized I didn't really talk about my relationship with Superman.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, I don't like the movies.
You don't like any of the Richard Donner films or its sequels?
So I've seen 1 and 2.
Okay.
Eh.
Eh?
Eh.
Eh? Well,
I was always a Batman person.
Okay. Don't like the Boy Scouting in a cape, huh?
No, not at all.
Aw.
I mean, I've read some Justice League comics, and he's okay there. Like, I was always irritated by the concept of, like, kryptonite is the only thing that can fuck with him. Because you know how when you're kids and you always have that conversation of, like, who could kick whose ass?
Yeah, I remember those conversations.
And that's how Batman v Superman happened.
Yeah.
But
Thank God for that.
Well, weird enough, too, the Teen Beat or whatever magazine that I had that had, like, a centerfold of Tom Welling in it.
A centerfold in Teen Beat?
Yeah,
Ew.
I mean, he wasn't naked.
Well, I hope not.
Farm boy garb.
It's Teen Beat. Oh, so he was wearing his flannel, and you were like, swoon.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Well, anyway, that same magazine had an article about rumors about this movie, Batman v Superman.
Oh, yeah, I do remember.
That was back in, like 02?
Yeah, it was a time ago.
Well, anyway, Adventures of Lois and Clark is cool. I've seen a few episodes, and it's not the worst thing. Dean Cain's really cute. Kind of gives him points.
Well, I have the first 2 seasons if you'd like to watch them.
Once we're done with this.
Yeah, once we're done with Smallville.
We might jump into that.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, that show's okay. Superman Returns was, it was cool.
But
I didn't come out of that being like, I need to own that on DVD.
Okay.
And I mean, the only reason that I liked it was...
At the time was Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk about him now.
Admittedly, that's the one thing that dissuades me from watching it. Admittedly, that was my one complaint with Superman Returns, was that he kept that same portrayal of the real estate obsessed Lex Luthor from the Richard Donner films, and that was like, dude, I know you want to be a sequel, but no, can we change Luthor back to what he was supposed to be?
But I mean, you're telling me like House of Cards is one of my favorite shows.
Nah, but
anyway,
so that centerfold was enough to get you thinking maybe I could give Smallville a chance.
No, I watched the show before. Like, I took out the centerfold. Like, I bought that magazine because it had the poster in it.
Oh, okay.
No. Like,
so what got you into Smallville?
The trailer on TV. Like, the commercial for it seems really neat. So, like, I'm telling you, when I had the bootleg tape that we talked about last episode that I made, it was from the first time it aired on TV.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you leave the commercials in?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I really need to see that tape now. I know it was only like 2000 something, but still, that was a while ago. I'd like to see what commercials were like.
I think I think we have it in this house, in a box somewhere.
Good, because I don't remember many commercials like that. I'm sure it'll be like a wave of nostalgia.
Back when I used to dot my I's with circles.
You mean you've stopped doing that? I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with you. But anywho.
But anyway, he was Tom Welling was the first person to play Superman and really made me genuinely give a shit and become emotionally invested.
You know, I have to admit, I do like it kind of... I was afraid of the whole whiny Superman thing because we're having to deal with teenage Clark. Even though he didn't look like much of a teenager in that first season. In fact, none of the teenagers really do.
Oh my god, it's nothing against the show because it happens so often in movies and TV.
Yeah.
You are a fucking idiot if you expect me to believe that any of those people are freshmen or even in high school at all. Like, they're all obviously, like, my age now.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not true. Tom Welling, I think, was 20 when it started. But
oh, yeah.
You're talking about a 20-year-old with, like, a broad chest, like a man body, and I'm supposed to think that he's 14?
No. No.
Like, I have no illusions about how much of a, like... I guess I gotta be nice to myself. How much of a total dweeb I was at 14. Like, I didn't even dress that well. I was one of those, like, Hot Topic kids.
I'm sorry. I remember us first having this conversation because, just so you folks know, I missed out on the whole high school experience. I was mostly homeschooled. And I had to ask Erica, I'm like, wait, how old are you supposed to be when you get to high school? Because I didn't care. Until now, I'm like, wait a minute, how old are you supposed to be? And she's telling me. And around this time, we were watching the episode where the coach develops powers in which he could shoot
dad
flame.
From the Wonder Years?
Yeah. And what made me laugh is that around that same moment, that conversation now is linked to one of our favorite jokes in that episode where the coach is trying to convince Clark to join the football team. And he's like, come on, your father was in the football team. I coached him, and I'm telling you, kid, it's in your blood. Yeah, it's the genes. And Clark just thinks about it for a moment. He's like, actually, I'm adopted. And
the look on his face is like... well, fuck you then.
Yeah, he had that, like, I don't like you... he had that, like, now I look fucking stupid, face. Those people that get angry when they realize somebody just made them look like an idiot, and they have to acknowledge it. Like, fuck! You have to acknowledge the burn. And that's what it was. So...
Right.
Yeah. Oh, man, we recently had something like that where there was another gag, and we laughed so hard we had to rewind it back.
I don't remember what it was, but I know it was a scene with, like, Mr. Kent in it.
Yeah.
It was something he did that was so funny that I was fucking... I think I made you rewind it like 5 times.
Oh, it's actually your favorite episode where they switch bodies.
Oh, yeah?
And he's like, yeah, hey, Clark, which is now Lionel Luthor in Clark's body. And Jason Teague, Lana's boyfriend in the episode at this point. And he's also the assistant coach now. This is season 4. And... Jonathan Kent just gives, Clark that fatherly pat on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And Lionel being completely fucking clueless as Jonathan walks away. Lionel's like, I guess I should... Turns around and his lips tight just gives Jonathan a pat on the shoulder too. Like, yes, good for you, Dad.
But the way that he did it is, like, obviously like that businessman, like...
It looks like I better try and be affectionate somehow. That's what we do.
No. You know what I'm going to compare it to, and you're going to laugh? Like Grease.
I don't like Grease, so I don't remember much of it.
Maybe other people understand what I mean. But there's just this bit where, like, Danny and Kaneki, like, are really weird about hugging. And it's just like you go in for the hug, and then you kind of smack the shoulder and like, yeah, all right.
Yeah, where you
it's
feel
like that kind of that macho bullshit.
Well, yeah, it's where you feel affection should be here in some sort, but yeah, you have to kind of hold back because it's like, guy. And, And you laughed so hard, I had to rewind that shit back.
It was pretty funny.
No, but I was already laughing through most of the episode and just kind of like awe because Tom Welling did such a great job mimicking John Glover's performance.
And I think you'd said like you didn't realize how like distinctive his performance was until.
Yeah, John Glover, like I've seen so much of him, I remember him as the devil from Brimstone. That's what I always associate him with more so than anything. That and the voice of the Riddler on Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah,
he was great. Too bad I couldn't have gotten that Riddler in Batman Forever.
It's weird how once you're involved in one DC Comics production, you just kind of get passed around.
Admittedly, that was something that got me on board with Supergirl, how they had Dean Cain and Helen Slater play Kara's adopted parents. And I'm like, Superman from Lois and Clark and Supergirl from Supergirl the movie. So, but in here, they have a similar situation, Christopher Reeve has a cameo. I believe he was in season 3.
Mm-hmm. He was in 2 or 3 episodes, yeah. Yeah,
that's when they first introduced him because Clark had found the caves. And
it was crazy, too. That was like right before he died.
Yeah. And, he was supposed to be associated, too, with the villain who was going to be Margot Kidder. And after his death, they were going to incorporate that into the show, and apparently Margot didn't like it, so they wrote that out. But yeah, it is a surprisingly good show. Just admittedly though, season 4, it's still a good show. Like basically, whenever they spend time with Clark and Lex, the show is solid. And I'm glad that they kind of put Chloe back on track because she had her annoying moments.
Yeah, she did. But speaking of like people that are in DC productions, kind of like jumping around, Michael Rosenbaum was also the Flash.
Right, I remember you telling me about that. But the big thing with season 4 right now is that there's a subplot, and it's tying into the main plot. It's just that there's this whole thing with Lana, and where it's tied to some, what was it, the 18th century, 17th century?
Yeah, something like that.
It was like 400 years prior, an ancestor of hers was a witch and got burned at the stake in France. And now she's been somehow touched by that experience, and now magic coexists. And
I'm yawning thinking about it, man.
I know, it's so bad. And
well, it's just, and I'm not saying that every episode should be like a Monster of the Week situation at all. No. Because there are some like plot lines that they carry through a few seasons even. Right. And I get it, but that's what you're going to throw all your money at?
Yeah. And also, it led to my least favorite episode now of the 4 seasons I've watched, where she gets possessed by her ancestor, and she also takes over. She also possesses with her friends Chloe and Lana, and it's horrible. It's such a terrible episode.
Like, especially when they get their coven together and it just looks like they're trying really hard to do a hocus pocus.
Yes. It screams hocus pocus in the worst possible way. And that is now my least favorite episode of the entire show right now.
I am with you.
Of the 4 seasons I've watched, it may change.
There's this other episode where Clark gets married because red kryptonite. Mm-hmm. And this fucking girl that can teleport. And
Alicia.
Yeah, and the whole thing is like, well, she's different, and she knows my secret, and since she's different, and I'm different, we should be together. I get it from that naive teenage perspective.
Yeah.
But fuck, is she an annoying character.
Well, that, and also it's just painful because this is going to end horribly, and it's going to create... And I hate the forced conflict between him and his mother. I'm like, stop giving him so much shit. Red kryptonite, yo.
And I'd forgotten, how, risque it gets.
Oh, yeah.
Like, when he just, rips her clothes off.
And she's wearing that corset and the garters. Right? I'm like, fuck. You're too young to know what a garter is. I'm like, at least you're supposed to be.
I was about to say, at this point, he's probably 25.
Yeah.
In real life.
But I guess we should cap it there. We're getting close to our mark.
Man. Okay, so Raven Heights Radio is now exclusively a podcast about Smallville.
Well, it's going to be dominating our feels for a bit, I'm sure. But we will talk about other shit. It's just that we're feeling it right now.
It was a joke.
But we'll branch it. Yeah, we'll branch out eventually, but
and the podcast could be called "Somebody Save Me from This Goddamn Story Arc."
Thank you for listening to Raymond Heights Radio. We'll talk to you again soon.
Good night.